Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Spooky Japan Podcast. Hoping everyone's doing well today. It's a bit chilly here in Japan, but as I'm told by Adam, it is even colder in where he is from.
Oh
So,
no! That's some of the problems of going live. Oh no! That's my life. Sorry. All right, we're good. I'm not worried about it. Thank you for the intro. I thank you so much, Amanda. It's an honor to be here on the Spooky Japan podcast. I know your co-host is out and about a little bit. I'm not feeling
yes,
well,
not feeling
but
well for anyone joining in. That's why you're not seeing her, but it's okay. It's all good. She's doing well.
good. Well,
Just wants
kudos
to,
from Maine, USA to Japan.
Yep. So, for our listeners out there who might not be familiar with who you are, how would you introduce yourself?
Oh, tell a little bit about myself. I guess I'll start from the beginning. I'll try to cut out the boring parts. My name is Adam Bejan, French, Canada. I'm born and raised in Maine. Actually went to the same high school as Stephen King. When I was young, 1988 in Lisbon, Maine, birthplace of Moxie, the drink. My grandfather passed away, my mom's father, and he came to me the night he passed away, walked me to the fridge, got me some drink, walked me back to bed, disappeared. 4 or 5 years later, my dad's father dies, Conrad Bejan, at Central Maine Medical Center. Fun fact, that's where Stephen King went when he got hit by that car a couple years back. He went to that in Lewiston. It's also right where they used to hang people. That was the town gallows was right there where they built the hospital. Funny story. But I saw him flatline in front of me. His eyes went back, vomited, the whole nine. What's up, Thomas? So that was intriguing. And then, of course, it got me talking about my grandfather 5 years prior. And my sister told me she saw him too. So that really got me into it. Of course, going to the same high school as Stephen King, I've been into this morbid stuff and death and paranormal since 9 years old or so. Of course, growing up in Maine, there's so much weird stuff. Anyway, New England, the witches, everything. So went through my life. I've always been into history. That's my thing. And then fast forward till about 5 years ago, my mom passed away. I was bequeathed her car. I was given her car and I drove it. I got hit in a collision with someone and I died for like 30 something seconds. They paddled me back in Scarborough, Maine. I mean, ever since then, it's like I'm a trap, like a Rain Man of paranormal. Like I hold shit in. Pardon my language, but I know facts, man. I love finding things out and knowing, like, in the late 1700s, Mary Nason was killed as a witch in York, Maine at 28 years old. She was an herbalist. And they put a 3-inch concrete slab above her grave, and it's still there. And people leave Bacardi and jewelry and coins. They put that slab there so she wouldn't rise from the grave. And so stuff like that I like to bring to light. Of course, everybody talks about Bathsheba, Conjuring, all this stuff well known, Lizzie Borden, all that stuff. But there's thousands, millions, not millions, but thousands of stories of stuff. So I spent my time in covering that. Started a radio show, Historically Haunted Show, Paranormal King, about 4 years ago. Did that. Then I did my own podcast. Been doing that for a little bit, Historically Haunted Vodcast. I was sponsored by one of the actors from one of the Stephen King movies. He drove the truck in Pet Cemetery that killed Gage, the Orinco truck. He sponsored the show. I've had guests on, done that. Now I do tours in Maine where Stephen King filmed Pet Cemetery, where Thinner was filmed, Storm of the Century, a lot of Stephen King stuff was filmed. I do stuff like that. And now I do a booking agency. I'm a booking agent. I actually, one of my clients is Stacey Johnson. She played Pennywise in the remake of It. When Georgie gets his arm ripped off in the cellar, that was her. It was Bill Skarsgård too, but she was the other one. And she actually paid me, and I'm her booking agent. And I got her booked in Augusta this year, in Augusta Civic Center. I'm going to be there with a bunch of people September 6th, my birthday. And we're going to be there at Augusta Civic Center with a bunch of them. So I've done that. I mean, I know it. I'm trying to stay humble, but at the same time, I'm letting you know who I am. I'm not trying to gloat, like, look at me. It's just from being homeless, being in a car accident, my family dying, all that good stuff, keeping me in the field and practically doing it alone and having banners with my girlfriend, Heather Witch and Caminiti. Oh, there we go. She's a witch and life guide on Facebook, selling jewelry and bracelets, trinkets made out of lava and mineral rocks and glass beads. So it's become a life form. Like, people come Halloween time, they're all about it. You know what I mean? October, they're all spooky. And it's like, oh, but I run the shit all year long, man. I just love it. I got, you name it. So it's become a lifestyle to me. And Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter, that's my handle. I have a YouTube channel, as you can see. And you can see me going to these places, haunted places, places in Maine and Massachusetts where mermaids are seen, going to look for them, the Wendigo, different creatures, just different stuff. So I've made it a life form, and it's worked out pretty good. I mean, I'm not living the high life, but it's definitely a fun hobby as opposed to playing video games or fucking pick up basketball. I like to look up haunted places or represent people. And there, sorry, I talk a lot.
No, it's fine. We can too here, so it's totally fine.
Cheers to Japan.
So I'm assuming you must be like really into history then, with going with Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter.
Actually, I'll say real quick, Thomas Patrick's one of my clients. He's paid me for 2 years now to represent him with the paranormal cons and stuff. So shout out to him. You know he's one of your guests. Nathaniel Elwell too, one of my clients. But yeah, history to me, I think it's one of the main classes I passed. I just love it, and not the bullshit crap like fake where the government wants you to know history. I want to know the stuff that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know like what went down, like why was this, and like okay, I live close to Bradford, Maine, Bradford, one word. You know why that's known for anything, or why it should be known? You never heard of it, have you?
No, I haven't.
It's the birthplace of chewing gum.
Really?
In 1898, they made spruce gum from sap from spruce trees in Maine. And then he went to Portland and Boston and sold it. And then but yeah, you look up the birthplace of chewing gum, it'll say Bradford, Maine. Google it. It'll say the name. I forget the name now, but it's spruce gum. Spruce gum was the first gum. Came from sap from trees. Then they made bubble gum. But so basically, the birthplace of gum, chewing gum, Bradford, Maine. I didn't know that till I moved up here, and it's a shame, right? I mean, I know it's useless Jeopardy knowledge, but it's kind of neat, I think. So I'm proud to know that. I'm proud to discover that, and I'm proud to say I can take you there for a small fee, because you can see the sign that says Bradford, Maine, the birthplace of chewing gum on their sign, like. And then you go to the convenience store, and they don't sell any spruce gum. I go, what? The one store in this little 300-person town where they don't even have cable in Maine, literally like an Amish town, and they don't even sell the chewing gum that they're known for. It's funny, but.
That's definitely weird. You feel like it should, especially because that's where it was born, basically.
I go into the store. I'm like, you guys get spruce gum? They go, no, we don't carry it. I go, what? This is what this place is known for. The only Bradford Country Store. It's literally a little town in Maine. Like, literally, I think they don't even have a red light. So,
Curtis gum.
Okay, well, maybe the last name was Curtis, but check it out. He's from Bradford, Maine. If you look it up, he was born and raised in Bradford. Did that for a year. Went to Portland, Maine, which is big. Then he went to Boston, and then there's a lot of people that have invented stuff from Maine or New England that need to be known, I think. So it's great. I've stayed at Lizzie Borden's with my girlfriend, Heather. We spent the whole night alone. The other guests canceled, so we had the whole house to ourselves in Fall River. And like you said earlier, The Conjuring, I work with Tony Spera and Chris McKenna, the Warren. But there's so much, like Mount Katahdin, okay? Yes, John Curtis. Thank you, Thomas. Yes, he looked it up. He's from Bradford, Maine. John Curtis. Amen, brother. I'm not reading a script. It's just ding, ding. I smoke a lot of weed, so you think I'd forget, but no. So right where I live between Bangor and Mount Katahdin. Mount Katahdin is one of the highest peaks in Maine. It's by Moosehead Lake. That's where the Wendigo is seen in Pomola. But by that is Elephant Mountain, where a B-52 bomber crashed, and 8 Army men died. 2 survived. 1 got frostbite. And the plane is still there. I did a video on my YouTube. You can see it. There's fuel lodges and tires from 1963. It's still there. And people don't know that that's a thing. And these men died in February of 63. And the plane's still there. So I go to these things, man. And it's no fee. You go there. People actually pat you on the back for going. And they're like, well, thank you for sharing. And they get excited. And I do tours there. And it's untouched. And damn it, the older I get, man, I want to leave a legacy behind and let people know there's things out there. Never stop exploring. You don't need Pokemon Go. Real life Go. Go check out stuff. Every town, every city, every country's got something for it, right?
Right. It amazes me how many people are try and be into the paranormal, but don't know much about history or even research history.
Isn't it implying?
Yeah, I'm like, how are you going to be in a paranormal if you don't want to know anything about or learn about history? It makes things make more sense once you actually know history.
Well, see, they don't want that, though.
Were back then. You're like, okay.
They want the TikTok videos, and they want people to go, oh, my God, you were there? Oh, my God. And I'm not trying to diss people, but there's the weekend warriors. They just want to go for the glitz and glamour. And I went to Eastern State Penitentiary. Have you? And it's like, okay. But then there's the people that go, and, okay, I've been to Eastern State Penitentiary. Do you know it's the world's first penitentiary? No, you didn't? You know they killed H.H. Holmes around there? You didn't know that? America's first serial killer? Oh, okay. See, that's shit that I want to know. Everything's got a story. Don't you want to know it? But I get it. There's some glitz and right. Thank you, Thomas. Like, and I get it. Some psychic mediums don't want to know because they want to. I feel a native presence here. I feel, you know what I mean? But the regular people don't care. There's no fun in that. So, but that's where people like you and I differ. Thomas differs. He's a serial killer,
Yeah.
Encyclopedia.
That's what I mean. When I came to Japan, that's one of the first things it's one of the very first things I did was start learning about some of the urban legends and history here. And when I started seeing things, going out there, especially going to the shrines, things that I saw just made more sense. Like if you didn't know any of the history or anything of the culture, especially from then, seeing seeing some of the statues you'd think is just a random statue, a nice looking statue, but it actually has every statue has a meaning. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is here because compared to someone like, oh, what an interesting statue.
Oh, see, that's dope. And especially Japan culture is way older than American culture.
Yeah.
Japan, China, all that stuff. I got to ask you a question. Let's flip the role real quick. So I'm a podcast host. I like to ask questions. What brought you from a cold ass Minnesota chick, Michigan,
Yeah.
Lake Michigan? What brought you from there to Japan, where you're live from right now, which is amazing?
My husband's in the Navy, so we're here with the Navy. So we got lucky. We're able to come here.
What time is it there?
Well,
Like midnight?
it's nice to seeing things from being in a different culture makes you able to see things differently, especially like your own culture. Like you also start realizing how rude Americans really are.
Yeah.
It's like you already know that before, but seeing it in a different country, especially when they think that anything they do is not going to get back to their friends or their family in real life. The things they do is just, and as I tell people, one of the best examples is several times I have been in a restaurant and you just all of a sudden from across the restaurant you hear someone blaring their music to the point where I can't hear the person next to me and I'm on the other side of the restaurant. And I'm like, this is rude in America. It's actually rude over here. But people do it because they're like, because their family's not going to find out. Their friends back there's not going to find out. So
See,
people just not care.
there's a fine line of it's my life, I'll do what I want, to where if that affects someone else's life, you're in the wrong. And I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, sure, you want to listen to loud music, well, stay home and do it. You know what I mean? Like when you're out in your car cranking it for the world to hear, like, it's one thing if you're driving fast, but at red lights and stuff during the summer, you park up next to someone blasting music, bass or whatever. It's like, but that's the way a lot of Americans are. It's my life. I do what I want. It's my world, and I get it, man. But have respect for your fellow human, man. You know what I mean? Like
It's called earplugs.
look at Good Friday or Black Friday. The day
Yes.
after people are thankful for what they got, they go out and murder each other at malls for a stuffed teddy bear. They literally trample people and break. You know what I mean? Like these Americans want their possessions, dude. It's like chill out. Real quick, Danny Perez, one of my clients. I took that picture of him in front of Stephen King's house in Bangor. Look in the corner. Booking Adam Began. I appreciate you, Danny, checking in with the radicals. He drives around in a hearse and he makes Ouija boards out of coffin wood. I got a couple somewhere. So you should come on your show. You should get him on your show sometime. But no, I agree with you.
I know Ouija boards are controversial in the paranormal. If they work or not, or are you automatically summoning evil? Like, well, it's people who don't know what they're doing, but because they saw Ouija the movie, like, oh, that explains everything you need to know right there. And I'm like, you realize it's Hollywood and they make shit up. They don't care.
Dude, it's like anything else. You can use an EVP the wrong way. It's all about intent. It's all about respect. And it's all about knowing what you're doing. That's the thing about ghost hunting, so to speak, or paranormal. There's not exactly, they don't know what to call. They don't. That's true. Yeah, it's dark, man. It's evil. I don't even bother. I'll go to the weed store and get some good, pre-rolled joints the next day. But other than that, I ain't whatever. But as far as that goes, like the whole thing, it's Oh shit, what were we just talking about? That threw me off with the comment. Oh, that's my girl Heather checking in. Which in life, Americans are so rude. Adam and I are actually going to be less in the public eye. Yeah, we're trying to fade back. People like me and people seem to respect me, and I get it. But I don't know, man. I only have a certain couple clients that actually call me, some that actually check in. There are certain people that come. I've been at my house in Maine for 2 years, and I've literally had like 2 people visit me, and my door is always open. It's just anyway, I'm not going to get into it. But Heather too. Heather does a lot. She donates her bracelets to things and she promotes people, but no one really shares her Witch and Life Guide stuff, which she's a big promoter. You ever want her on your show? She may not do it, but she'd be tickled pink if you asked her. She's a good shit. She's a little quiet, but good fucking woman right there, raising kids. So yeah, so how long you been doing this thing for? What got you into podcasts? I gotta ask.
So we started doing this in March, and it's because when I first moved here, I wanted to get really big in the paranormal community, and I started looking that into about the same time I started learning about the history. So that's also one of the first things I did. Basically, got here and I was just like, "Yep, research the culture, get into the paranormal." But then I realized here in Japan, it's funny because even though they have so many traditions to respect the deceased or their ancestors, however, when it comes to the paranormal, it's such taboo here, and also not everyone knows about Japanese culture or paranormal. So we're like, let's just start a podcast because I found Irene, my co-host, and if said it before, I'll say it again for people who just tuned in. She's sick today, so you don't.
Yeah, I wanted to meet her. I got to come back on or have you on my show because I want to meet her.
We'll have to get you on for a part 2. Hopefully she'll be feeling better back on.
Oh, blessings.
She's in Tokyo, and she's like, yeah, it's just me who's into it. People here, people think you're actually crazy if you admit that you see a ghost.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit. Like Loco, just out of it. Much love to Heather. What's up, Jay? Jay Hill. He's another paranormal guy, another talk show host out of Wisconsin. Studio 6. What's up, my brother? Jean Tewksbury. She's one of my clients. She's a cryptozoologist from Maine. She chases big cats, puma cats and stuff. Another strong woman in the field.
Anyway,
but I think
so we have thousands also of cryptids here, but we don't have any cryptid researchers to learn anything about them. And so anytime I talk to, anyone who's a cryptid researcher, I'm like, come to Japan, man. You're not going to have any competition. And I promise anything that you learn is going to be new and groundbreaking. And please come back on Spooky Japan and tell us about it. Since you got the idea from me, right? You come back to Spooky Japan and tell us what you learned. Because trust me, no one wants to learn here about the cryptids. They just, to them, it's like, I don't know if it's the same way they look at anything goes. I don't know if it's going to harm me, so I'm just going to leave it alone. We have our own Bigfoot here in Japan, but he's only 5 foot tall. And a Bigfoot researcher said, "Well, that sounds like an adolescent." I'm like, "Yeah, but he's only been seen as 5 foot tall. So was he an adolescent, or is that actually how big he is here? No one knows." So I'm like, "Why don't you come here, find out, and tell us? Maybe it is, maybe it's not."
But the Japanese culture where you're living and all that stuff, don't you guys heavily believe in dragons? Like, isn't it always like the dance of the dragon and all this stuff?
Yes. Also, the dragon is also considered. You can buy a bunch of dragon statues, which I love.
Really?
It's actually common to find some dragon statues in homes in Japan because they protect the household.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that? Personally?
Yeah. I love how they see a dragon and they're like, it's just here to protect me, not destroy me.
That's wild. No kidding. Fucking Danny. Museum of Wonders. He collects things. He's got like serial killers that have made art by cutting themselves with their blood. He's got that. He's got cemetery dirt, coffin. He's very morbid, but he's very, very sweet. You can take a picture in a casket in the back of his hearse and shit. I took one. Danny's good people, man. And he makes the spirit boards, but like I got one of me He put me on the spirit board, so I use it as a decoration. And he's got one of Stephen King in front of his house. I'm a big Stephen King guy. That's my idol, dude. I almost passed out when I saw him like a month ago. He's the Edgar Allan Poe of our time, man. He's the one. He's the H.P. Lovecraft, right?
Yeah.
I gotta ask you something. What's your favorite Stephen King movie or book? Do you have one? You must have one. I mean, even if it's like The Shining or fucking Shawshank, something, right?
For me, I always like the idea of like Pet Cemetery. Just because I have my dog, but also at the same time, it's like what happens when you do come back? We're assuming, oh, my dog would be loyal to me.
The whole resurrection. Oh, Danny's wife Lauren, what's up? The Radicals. She makes her own goods and stuff too. She's a good salesman. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, like, you remember the movie, right?
Yeah.
You remember when the dude looks at Herman Munster and he goes, "Oh man, how much longer?" He goes, "Not much longer now, Lewis." He goes, "You keep saying that." You look back and there's like a water thing with like a rock mound in the middle. I've been to that. It's a little.
Really?
It's the middle of nowhere. It's a free thing. I drove an hour and I saw. It's like I can bring these people there. Historically haunted tours. You come to me and I'll give you a deal. I know where this dude's been shot in the street. He was America's Most Wanted. Al Brady came from Indianapolis, Indiana to Bangor, Maine to buy Tommy guns. And Jericho Hoover and the FBI in Massachusetts were alerted. 1937, they shot him in the streets. There's pictures of it. They got a brick right there, and he's buried in the cemetery where Stephen King played the Reverend in the Pet Cemetery. May the Lord keep you. That's all in Bangor, man. I know it's yeah. Sometimes that is better, Lauren. What a trip. But that keeps me going. I tell you, life's obviously hard. I got a car that's like running like crap. It's 16 degrees here in Maine. My furnace is blowing. You can hear it. It's fucking cold. I got stuck on my driveway on the way home, when I got home tonight. I live 3 hours north of my girlfriend. But I try to make do. I'm halfway through writing my first book. I've been sponsored for that. So I'm going to be an author soon at some point. I'm just really trying to, I don't know, man, not like leave a legacy. I'm just trying to do the most with life. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I know
Like,
what you mean.
I got my collection out back, but I got all my autographs. Hellraiser, Jason, Halloween, Pennywise, Miko. I got all my autographs in my little podcast room in the middle of nowhere here in Maine. And, fucking A. Diego, one of my brothers, Raph Munoz, host of it. Brandon tunes in every week, donates $12 a week to my show. This fucking guy pays me $50 a month to sponsor my show. 2 clients of mine as well, man. They're all tuning in. My brothers, my fam. Appreciate you guys. I tell you, my own sister, ever since my mom died, my family don't talk to me, not to get personal. And I've been drinking, maybe that's why. But my sister, my dad, none of them know what I do. My dad's older from Lewiston. My sisters are younger, but they don't know what I do. They don't know my podcast. They don't know I'm a co-host. They don't even been to visit me. I don't know if I'm the black sheep. Maybe it's because I'm white. I don't know. But it's like I will have more friends like you and these people in chat and Facebook, everybody, Jay Hill, Danny, they're all my fam. Heather, my girl. When I was in a car accident and died, dude, Heather took care of me. No one, my family didn't care. So shout out to you guys. Amanda, shout out to you, Spooky Japan Podcast, for messaging me. It's an honor, and I'm fucking tickled pink to be on the show with a half hour to go. Man, I'm an open book. I'm a talker. You got your wish. Sorry. I just want to give you a shout out because I respect you, Amanda, and I appreciate what you're doing here. Jim Brown, Tombstone Paranormal, he's a main guy, one of my former clients. He's doing his own thing right now. So I got to ask you, what time is it over there?
It is 9:30 a.m. here.
9:30 a.m. Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow, we're in the future, guys. It's 7:30 p.m. Wednesday here in Maine. I'm talking to the future. Yeah, I feel like yes.
I wish that was how it works. And there's some people who actually think that's how it works. I'm like, nah, because I'd be messing you guys. Hey, the lottery numbers are go get your.
Amanda, what's life like in the future? Do you have a flying car yet? Oh, you're a lot of fun.
That is actually one thing I've actually tell people is because everyone it's the whole thing where everyone believed that aliens helped our civilization back in the day. And people keep wondering why they don't help now. I'm like, because mentally we're de-evolving to the point where they're probably just like, yeah, no, the more I give you, the stupider you guys get and the more things you guys ruin.
Dude, one of my favorite bands of all time, God, What an Awful Racket, GWAR, GWAR. And one of their lines, yes, Thomas, one of their lines from one of their songs is stupid humans bringing an end to it all. It's true. This world is gorgeous. What we could do is help each other. You know, you need money, you need heating oil. Great. I need my dishes done. Let's trade. Work together. Money is a bullshit figment of your imagination, and it's wrong. And that's why I try to do the best I can. Sure, I charge for my tours, but a lot of it just covers 4 hours of my time. Just, you know what I mean? Covers my gas money. It's not like I'm doing it for just. It's very cheap, rather. But my girl Heather, man, she's very much like the culture. I feel like even American culture, am I wrong here, is very much, this is mine, not yours, right? I mean, for the most part.
It is, yeah. Compared to, yeah, they don't really want to share it either. When you go to other countries, they're thrilled to share it with people who generally want to know more or experience it.
For
And
what?
not be rude about it, too.
For your 75 years on this rotating rock, big fucking deal. Share and have kindness. That's what I'm trying to get towards. New man needs to take over first. Modern man needs to become extinct. That's my girl Heather. She's grounded, man. She's a real witch, I'll tell you. I don't mean that with pride, but she's a good shit. You'd like her.
Back in the 60s, they all assumed by now we'd have flying cars. However, we have to ask them to unlock the Tide Pods, which is crazy.
I almost feel like the shift of, oh, what's up, Amanda? I think that must be Amanda, probably from, there's a lot of, I'm trying to think, maybe Two Witches and Spooky Spirits. If you're ever in Maine, take Adam's tour. Danny didn't never take mine twice because there's so much to see in such a little time. But they saw a lot of stuff. And then we went to the Hancock house where the kid got hit. Different stuff. We went to Thin. You ever seen Thinner?
Yes.
That's a good one. Oh, I promised jetpacks. Raph. So yeah, man, I don't know. Like, it's the old school, it's the old school thing. Life's a garden. Dig it. It's just, there is fun stuff to do with life. If you have a decent intention, you can find like-minded people like Amanda, like Lauren, like Heather, like Thomas, like Diego. You can find like-minded people that don't want to screw you over and actually want to see us all succeed and just live, right? What's wrong with that? So
Yeah.
Kudos. Cheers. Amen. Love it.
The paranormal has become more of a competition with a lot of people than real camaraderie.
You notice that too, huh?
Which when I first started into paranormal, you got excited to find other people into the paranormal because, like, yes, I have a friend to do this stuff with. Nowadays, a lot of people who into the paranormal meet other people in the paranormal, like, my competition. I have to take them down. It's like, why?
You know how many answers we had if we worked together? Do you know how much shit?
More, yeah.
Amanda, come on. It's worse than fucking pro football out there. Literally, like, people are like, oh, you work with them. Oh, you're going there with them. Oh, you know him. Oh, you know her. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? It's less about the dead and it's more about a talent contest or Pretty Boy show. It's sickening. It is. Yes, Heather. Thank you. Goddamn, she's sexy. That's why I'm with her. Smart too. I tell you. Yeah, we're like-minded, Amanda. You know what's going on. You know what's up. But that doesn't take away from what you and I are trying to achieve. We're just kind of straying away from the whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, luckily here we don't have that. We don't have teams. You can't even book haunted locations to investigate. There is no overnight. It is one of those, you either investigate in a public place or you sneak into a location, to abandoned location.
That's old school. That's fun.
Yeah.
Right? That's good intentions. Honestly, it really is. You're not doing it to, yes, Thomas, man. Fucking A. That's what it's about, I feel like, is just, yeah, that's what it's about. I mean, when ego comes in, man, when you're the Zach fucking Bagans of the paranormal times, I've lost some friends. I've been a part of some teams. Exactly, Gene. I've been a part of a team or two where people just think literally that people are there to see them. I'm like, what? And they don't want to give you any credit. You come up with any ideas and they take it. And I'm like, oh, come on, dude. So I branched out on my own. I was part of 2 or 3 different teams. I'm not going to name drop because they're not worth it. But I went alone and following. So who's better than who? Not saying this is what it's about, but let's do it for the right reasons. Let's do it for knowledge and for understanding and help, not for TikTok likes and follows, guys, which is great. Don't get me wrong. That's how you get known. But, Kenneth Drake, Medium Kenneth Drake. I actually opened up for him a couple times. Me and Heather sold some stuff at his convention. He gave me money. We did shots with Whitey Bulger's niece. You know Whitey Bulger? Johnny Depp played him in Black Mass.
Oh, yeah.
The gangster. We did shots with her niece in Quincy, Massachusetts, where he killed people in the bar after Heather and I had an event with him and his girl at the time. So, yeah, shout out to Kenneth Drake. Good people. Holy shit. People are turning out to support. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to say hi to me. Damn it. That's awesome. Sometimes you feel like no one's got your back, and then people come out to go, here I am. So that's cool. Tracy, what's up? So you ever been to Maine?
I have not been to Maine.
New England?
I do. I've been to, like, the farthest north I've been is New York.
Okay. Never been to Mass then, or Connecticut, nothing like that.
No, I do. I want to see Salem, but I'm not in October, just because I had 2 different groups of friends who went different years to Salem, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't recommend because you have to have a reservation to get into anything, to do anything, and then you have to leave 2 hours before your reservation to even find a parking spot anywhere in town."
Just gonna say
And
that.
and then they're like, "Yeah," and then it's just overly crowded. So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not."
Try getting gas too when there's 15 people in front of you and you got to wait in the gas parking lot for 20 minutes. What's up? Thomas, I got your back too. Thomas is Connecticut bound. Thomas and I did an event in Salem the last couple of years. I've been a speaker there at Salem State University College. And then you leave, in November. I'm a speaker there with him and we got a thing set up and then you try to leave and good luck. So we've been to Salem, Heather and I, in like July, even November. You go right in, man. No problem. You can see the Bewitched statue. Everything. Go there in October. No. That's for people watchers. You don't want that. You don't want
Someone
that.
made a point is, what if the spirits of the people who were prosecuted for being a witch who was wrongly accused? They're like, I wonder how they feel that they died for being accused of being a witch, but then all of a sudden their spirit sees all these people walking around dressed like a witch, and it's
Spending
okay.
money, buying
Yeah.
money. People are making profit off these poor souls' deaths. Think about that. Just you selling a candle in Salem, you're making money off fucking one of their deaths. Am I right?
Right.
So people go to Danvers, okay? Danvers was originally Salem Village. The parsonage where Tituba, the Black Witch, the slave from Africa that taught the young girls witchcraft, the ground zero is there in Danvers, Massachusetts. And guess what? It's free. And guess what? I've been there about 10 times. And guess what? Every time I go, there's no one there because there's no voodoo dolls. There's no candles. There's no parades. It's literally just a little nothing in the middle of nowhere, but it's ground zero of the witchcraft, bro. It's their house. It's the rock foundation of where Tituba taught the young girls witchcraft, and they came fits at 9 years old and called her a witch and started. It's ground zero, and there's no one ever there. They're all in Salem buying rinky-dink tourist traps. So that's where you and I differ, right? That's where people like us, Thomas, differ. Tracy, Heather, we go to places that, I want a picnic there next. Oh, girl, we will. There's a big placard there in 1673 or something. The Reverend was there. Then you go to Rebecca Nurse's house, the homestead, 1689. She was the oldest person hung, 89 years old. She's buried out back. And guess what? That's free. So while everybody's down there buying Ouija boards and candles and dildos with fucking urine, sorry to be weird. But I'm away from that, bro. Amanda, I'm away from, I honestly, dude, sometimes people drive me nuts. I know I'm getting buzzed here, but sometimes, like you said, humans just want to be part of the glitz and glamour, and they go to Salem for the wrong reasons, Amanda, and they tap dance over these poor people's souls, and it sucks. So I know what you're saying. I appreciate what you're saying, man. I like that. You get what you fucking get it. So cheers.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah, they just went with that reputation and ran with it. Now that's all.
That's all. Damn it, man. You fucking, yeah, you know what's up. You know. Heather knows what's up. It's true. And I love Salem. Don't get me wrong. I've been to places down there and I bought t-shirts. I've got stoned in Salem. Maybe I'm part of it. I get it. But at the same time, the money should go to the families. I don't know, man. There should be some sort of connect, but I don't know. It's yeah. But Japan's loaded with that. Every place is loaded with that. Also, not straight where you're from. Egypt, all these places around the world. It's not just America. We're stuck in the 1600s. Japan's stuck in what? BC, right? You know what I mean? You guys are old over there, right?
Yeah, there's still places here because everyone's like, well, you see the videos of you guys are living in the future. And I'm like, that's not majority of Japan. Most of Japan is still ran by mom and pop shops, which I
No
love,
way.
but they're also cash only.
Oh.
So if you ever come to Japan, make sure you do have cash because
Is
if
it
you're
yen?
going to be somewhere and
Is it yen?
yeah,
What's that to
yeah,
American
so
money? Like 5-1? Or is it?
it varies on what it is. It's usually yeah, 'cause the
Huh.
exchange rate changes daily.
Right. Interesting. Well, you come to Maine, I'll be your tour guide at pretty much no cost. And I come to Japan, I want a tour at no cost. So is that trade?
Okay, definitely, yeah. No place
Oh
is
man,
free.
that's awesome. Because history's not, I mean, American history is history too. I mean, have you been any place besides Japan? You've been to Italy or anything? Germany?
No, I would love to go to Italy next because to me that's motherland. Because I'm
That's
like, I have to see Italy. I have
Pacelli's
to.
my mom's maiden is Pacelli. We're from Rome and shit Calabria, and Heather's from Calabria too. And where you from? Where's your family from?
My grandmother was from somewhere in southern Italy, and my grandpa was Sicilian.
Oh my God, Sicilian. Oh
Yeah,
boy, that's the hardcore Italians right there. You don't mess with them. I forget about
yeah.
it.
And I have to say that because you can't tell a Sicilian they're Italian because it. Yes, it's part of Italy, but it's not.
They'd rather
It's
be known as
included.
Sicilians than Italians. Really?
Yeah, well, think of it as to that. I think you know how we have Hawaii, but like it's a different culture. It's part of the United States, but it's like part of kind of
You're not
different.
American, you're Hawaiian. Even though you're still American, but you're
Yeah,
Hawaiian.
that's
I
how they
get you.
also see it. They're not Italian, they're Sicilian.
Right. We're Italian, but we're Sicilian. I get it. You don't say
Yeah.
Italian. Yeah. They won't cut your throat out, but you call them a guinea and they may cut your throat out. Italian, baby. Yeah, Pacelli. Caminiti. That's my girl, man. Best cook I fucking know.
Oh yeah, my grandmother would make spaghetti that would ruin 5-star Italian restaurants for you. You'll
Oh,
eat their
great.
spaghetti and be like, yeah, this isn't as good.
American spaghetti don't mean crap. Chef
Oh,
Boyardee can
okay.
suck it. Oh, you kidding me, girl? Absolutely. How's Japanese food? Gotta be amazing. It's not just sushi, right?
It is sushi. So sushi, if you're into
I
sushi,
love sushi. Don't
they
get me
only
wrong.
sell they only sell it if they caught it that morning.
Oh, fresh, huh?
Yeah, so it's so fresh. People tell me, they're like, trust me, it's going to you once you eat sushi in Japan, it ruins sushi back in America because someone was like, yeah, my favorite sushi place, it was the best here in America. Then I went to Japan, ate sushi, went back, craved sushi, went to my favorite place, supposed to be the best. I spit it out. You can't eat it after eating it in Japan. 'Cause-
That's good. That's good. You guys must have like McDonald's and Pizza Hut and shit out there, no?
I don't have Pizza Hut around me. That might be in bigger cities. The only pizza place I have here is Domino's.
Okay, no Domino's. All right, right on.
We do obviously have McDonald's too.
I would think so. That's worldwide, right?
That's
Burger King
worldwide.
and
That's
shit like
always
that.
gonna be.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, no kidding. Sorry to ask so many questions. I'm just very intrigued
No,
about
it's
overload.
fine. That's why we do this podcast so people can also learn about Japan.
Oh, man, you're easygoing. I like that. Well, I
Other
got
than
a nice
that,
little
food
buzz.
here though, they don't. They use it tastes so good, even though they use a lot less sugar and don't really use preservatives.
Really?
Yeah,
Different restrictions, different country. I get it. Different product, so to speak.
I think that's also why they tend to live longer because the food is just healthier.
Thomas, I had a McRib today. Extra pickles. You fucking buy. Um, Man, I love what you're doing. I love that you're promoting other people. I love that you're putting yourself out there. And as soon as I got turned on to your show was honestly pretty much Thomas. And if you notice, I've been sharing and liking and following with all my pages. And I really appreciate you bringing me on. I always got some time left, but this is fun. I'm never a guest much. I'm always the host, and it's fun to kind of be on the other side once in a while. So I appreciate you. Even though I want you and her on soon, we'll make some.
Okay, definitely.
Maybe February or March. I have some openings. I got Nomar tomorrow. Have you talked to Nomar Slovic yet? The UFO guy from Maine, UFOologist?
No.
Oh, you got to talk to him. He's an author. He's all this great from me. And he talks really like he put you to sleep. You're picnicking an alien, and the alien's right there going to probe you. It's just, you're like, whoa. He put you to
I
sleep.
guess they recently came out, American government recently came out and said there are aliens living in the waters, which is funny because Irene and I have been telling people that. That's what we think that happens here, especially around Tokyo, because they have so many
No.
earthquakes. And then the worse the earthquake is, the more UFOs you see in the sky. So we're
You
like, are they causing the earthquake or are they coming out?
Well, those are
Because
USOs, right? Unidentified submerging objects, right? There's a USO highway in New Brunswick, Canada, of UFOs that go in the. Yes, Diego's had no more on the show. UFOs that crash into the water and shit. Well, by the way, my show is every Thursday at 7 p.m. for the most part. I had Mike Myers' First Kill on, his sister Sandy Johnson. I talked to psychics. Every Thursday, Historical Legends Vodcast is pretty much me smoking, drinking, swearing, being an idiot. People like it though. I gotta get you on, you and your host. So yeah. You picked the wrong guy. Hope you don't mind. You better not delete this after.
where has been your favorite place to investigate so far?
Ooh, killer question. I love getting asked questions. Yay, it's about me. Sorry. Lizzie Borden's was great. Heather and I went to a place called Jurgensen's or something. That's the real name of it. It's a place in Kennebunk, Maine. Kennebunkport is where the President Bush has a compound, a house there in Kennebunkport. And the Kennebunk and Kennebunkport are the only places in the world named that for towns is in Maine. But we went to this place one time, right? Check this out. We went in, and it's like an antique store. And I go in, I start looking like the cheapest things, like $400. I'm like, oh shit, Heather, don't fucking sneeze, nothing. So we go to the back room, and these two werewolves come out of the room. These two big, massive, like I don't even know what they were, huge dogs. They don't bark, nothing, but they literally corral us back to the girl that welcomed us. And as we're walking past the girl that welcomed us, she's talking to another girl. They're both almost like not transparent, but just weird. And they don't even acknowledge us at all. We walk out, we shut the door, and then we look inside, and it's complete darkness, and no one's there. I don't know if it's fucking haunted or what. That was fucked up. That was weird. This vine's going outside. That was weird. But the weird. Sorry, I went off subject. I got ADHD. The weirdest place that we've investigated, or me, or her. Boy. Boy, that puts me in the spot. I'm not used to questions. I probably got to go Oliver House in Massachusetts, which where Benjamin Franklin found notes of treason that started the American Revolutionary War. Lewis Oliver owned it, and he was a slave owner. There's a Native American burial ground out back. There's a Native American Underground Railroad there. And the building is just crazy. Someone hung themselves there, you name it. And me and Heather went off on our own, smoked a joint on the Native American burial ground, and she got a tick. You know what a tick is?
Yeah.
She got one on her boob. But that's no kidding. And we get some pictures of mist. I went there with Chris Sanders and a bunch of people and different people. And Marlborough, Massachusetts, I think. Oliver, Oliver, Oliver House. Benjamin Franklin has a closet there. And he found notes of treason in there. He spent the night. That's a big name, Benjamin Franklin. So I've been to Gettysburg 3 times. So that's up there too. Shoot. Gettysburg's number one. I'm sorry. Gettysburg's number one because I heard gunfire I've just Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Come on, right? Right? I
Did you
mean,
have any activity in the Lizzie Borden house?
Heather used dowsing rods. Those went off. I laid in the same position that the mother got killed in the murder room upstairs, in the
Mhm.
John Morse room, the uncle. I laid in the same position. I literally slept. I didn't sleep, and I'm not going to bullcrap you. I laid in the bed for 20 minutes, and she slept for maybe an hour. Took off all my clothes, not to be weird, but I laid in Lizzie and Emma's bed. I laid in the father's bed. I went around the house. I went to the attic with the not the slave, but she was a slave, I guess. She was like the family girl there, Maggie or whatever the fuck her name was. We were up there in the room, down in the basement where they found the axe and where things were seen as a dirt basement. And they have a shop vac there. It's not dirt anymore, but it's concrete. But they have a shop vac, and then we got a blue orb on that. I got a picture of that. And supposedly on the top, I couldn't find it, but there's blood seeping through the carpet in the living room where the father got killed with the axe. I laid in that couch. That was wild. Went outside, smoked a joint. Across from Lizzie Borden's in Fall River, Mass, is the courthouse where Aaron Hernandez, he was a football player for the New England Patriots. He hung himself. Well, that's where he went to court and was found guilty. There's a couple of churches there. We went to her house on Maplecroft on the hill the next day. Went to her grave. You look at her grave, it says Lizbeth, and she's buried next to her parents that she killed, supposedly. So we went to the jail she was at. So Lizzie Borden's is wild. That was a big one. That was a big one for us. At the Warren Convention in Mohegan Sun in Connecticut last year. Hold on, I'm stoned. Tony Spera, and Tony knows all about me. He's the husband to Judy Spera and Lorraine Warren's daughter. He's the owner and caretaker of Annabelle. You know Annabelle, right?
Yeah.
He asked me, and who commented earlier, Brandon Golding. If Brandon's still there, he can justify it. I got pictures. He asked me and Brand to load Annabelle up on stage. We got blessed by a priest. We had to wear black gloves. We had holy water on us. We had sage going on us. Christ Almighty. We're all lit up. And I get to hold up and bring up Annabelle in the case in Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut for the Warren Convention last year. Brandon was there. Brandon's my boy. Me and Brandon did it together. Brandon's been a fan. He's part of the booking agency, Viper Paranormal, from Virginia with his wife, Kim. So yeah, that was pretty wild. That was a big accolade. So I've done some wild stuff. I'm not trying to toot my horn, but might as well mention it. Annabelle was big. I mean, who can say they loaded up Annabelle besides me and Brandon? Anybody in chat? I don't think so. I'm not trying to brag, but it's rare and it's cool. I've been to the Occult Museum. I've helped Chris McKenna pack. When I saw Annabelle back a couple years ago, I saw in Lorraine Warren's graves. So it's been a great. The whole journey's been great to know and meet people and make knowledge and learn knowledge. And Brandon, remember we loaded up Annabelle at the Warren convention last year when I met Stacy Pennywise. I get to meet Amanda in Japan at 9 a.m. eating her cereal, going, "Who the fuck is this spaz from Maine?" Yes, Annabelle, the Occult Museum. She is in the Occult Museum, but they bring her for the Warren convention every year. You can pay tickets to see her, the Conjuring Mirror, all that good stuff. I got pictures of that too. But we load her up on stage to be talked about, and we got blessed by Wade Kirby, Wade Kirby. He's the high-ranking priest for the Warren Convention. There he is. That's my boy. Brandon knows he was there. So it's been a ride, man. Me and Heather do our thing, and we get support. I do get support in the podcast. I don't need someone to coddle me. I do have some friends out there. I think Heather needs more guidance, not guidance, but people to realize she knows what's going on. She's just quieter than I am, but she knows her shit. What is that? I also rubbed against the case when you were looking in the back of the U-Haul with Chris. That's right, when he thought he lost his keys. The U-Haul out back. So I'm rubbing elbows with the right people, and it's fun. And I'm just some stoner from Maine that doesn't have any family that gives a shit. And I'm up here doing my own thing. And people seem to want to connect with me. And I'm down, man. Let's make connections. I just want to die in a movie. I know some directors. I'm like, kill me in a horror movie. So I do that too. Like I said, I all these people. I'm friends with Sarah French. So it's fun. Life's a trip, man. It really is. Fucking A.
I want to go to the Lizzie Borden house, but be one of those things where obviously you want to be there overnight. But I'd also want to rent the whole entire house just because I looked into it. Where they're like, yeah, you can go, just rent the individual rooms. But the way the setup looks, you share a bathroom with someone else.
Well, the way it is very odd. If I can remember in my head now, of course you get the basement, but the first floor is parlor, living room. where they have like slide glasses and footage and all that. They get the other parlor where the father was killed with the fireplace. They get the kitchen, and then they get the dining room. And the next morning, they make you the exact breakfast they made the parents the day they died, except for the mutton. But you got pineapple slices, eggs, corn fried hash, coffee, the whole 9, water. It's the same breakfast they had the day they were killed. That was back when Leanne owned it before she died. We're talking 1999, a couple months before my mom died. I blame Lizzie for my mom died. She died 4 months later for no reason. She went to go get her blood checked and had a cardiac arrest and died. And I lost my shit. That's another story. I don't want to cry. I ended up losing my shit big time. I lived in a tent for a year and a half, and COVID hit, and I tried suicide and all that stuff. But here I am. But anyway, shit. What were we talking about? Sorry.
The Lizzie Borden house and how it's set up.
Oh, the Lizzie Borden house. So 2 of the glass windows are the original glass windows. The floor's the same. The backyard's the same. One of the trees is there where they ate pears, but it's cut down. But that's where Lizzie said she was eating a pear during the murder. It's out back. That's kind of neat. New owners now, I don't know how they run it, but when Heather and I stayed there, was a Thursday in like March, and they go, hey, they give us a tour, and they go, 2 other people canceled. You got the whole house for yourself for $250. That goes for $2,000 to rent it out. But we had a room for $250 with 2 other people that canceled. So we had the whole place to ourselves. But it's expensive, and there's 2 bathrooms. The second floor has got bedroom. They got the bedroom here, the murder room. They got a bathroom, which back then they didn't even have a bathroom. It was a storage room. They pissed in pots out back. There's a bathroom here. There's the murder room. Over here is Emma's room, which is connected to Lizzie's room. You can't leave Emma's room without going through Lizzie's room. So if you're spending the night in Lizzie's room, you're going to have people going through your fucking room all night. Because there's a door to the father's room out back.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, that's the room I want to book. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I don't like the fact that other people have to go through my room.
No. And you're not going to have sex. I get it. You're not going to lay naked. But at the same time, you want a little bit of privacy. It is a hotel. Let's face it. It is. I mean, obviously, it's one of those hotels where you go for the hotel. You don't go see these sites. You go to stay there. That's the difference. We didn't leave the fucking house while we were there until we left. But at the same time, I'd rather not go there for the people who are there unless they're like friends of mine, close friends. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, I either have to go with people I know, or I don't. I'd rather rent the whole house. For that reason, it is. You wake up at at least if someone walks by, you're a good friend of them.
You wake up at 1:30 in the morning because Steve is going to take a piss, and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Exactly. And I'm like, something about that gives me anxiety where people have to walk through my room. There's nothing you can do about it.
No, I've never I've never been on her stream before. This is the first time I've met her about 2 months ago. She asked me, had a couple clients on. I'm gonna get her on mine. Hopefully I'll be back when her co-host is better, and I want to get her on mine. And this is my first time, so be gentle. I got a sense of humor. That's bad, but whatever.
Hopefully this is one of many times you'll be on this podcast.
I hope so. And I'm yours for the next half hour, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, hour. I don't care. I'm not doing nothing here. I get tomorrow off. It's going to snow here in Maine. You get snow up there?
We do in northern Japan.
Okay.
Northern Japan, I heard, gets pretty bad. I haven't been up there for the snow.
When's the last time you've had snow?
Just because I'd rather avoid having to be up there when there is a bunch of snow, because they said even the taxi drivers have a hard time driving. So I'm like, yeah, no. I'd rather not.
When's the last time you've seen snow? Has it been years?
It has been, because I lived in North Carolina for a while before I moved here.
We're going to mobile.
Not really. Maybe the stuff that really doesn't stick long is the longest when I've seen the snow.
I'm here. I want you to see my snow. This is my house. Come on, light. There it is. See it on my car? One of my cars? I had to plow into the driveway today. I had to push the snowbank in. I got stuck and my friend had to come. The neighbor helped push me out.
I do not miss that at all.
Oh, yeah, it's cold. I can see my breath, man. I tell you, I love Maine. And people go, oh, Maine, Stephen King, that's so fun. I'm like, yeah, well, Maine's not for the weak at heart, man. It gets cold here, bro. It gets, it's like I said, it's about 16 right here. It's supposed to get about 5 inches of snow tonight. So, boy. You missed that? Oh, great. She just moved. If that's Amanda from the podcast, I think it is. She just moved to Maine from Georgia, so she's living up by Bangor as well. She's about 45 minutes north of me or northeast of me. I think you've been on the podcast, but then no, I don't remember neither of them. No, let them know, man. I'm down. I'm easy. I'm a horror of the paranormal, man. I love attention. I'll go on and talk my life if people are willing to listen. I feel like it's intriguing. I mean, I'd like to learn more, but at the same time, I don't mind sharing knowledge too. I feel like we both learned something today, right?
Yeah. It is. It is December 5th here. It is. Yeah, so it's definitely Krampus night, which I was surprised
That's
how
right.
many people don't know the lore of Krampus. I'm like, really?
Really? Yeah, you're right. It's kind of underground, even with the Hollywood movies. It's kind of what is he? He comes out of Switzerland, right? Technically, or
That
Germany? Is it a German lore, right?
Austria, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
I know somewhere over there.
that's right. I like that. And Maine, we get the Wendigo, the Native American lore, and of course, we got different stuff. Germany, Heather, yes, that's my girl. Smart chick, guys. Follow Witch and Life Guide on Facebook. She makes some good stuff. Good people. Good. She's kept me grounded. When I was in the car accident, my family didn't care. Heather was there and coming back to life for 6 or 7 months straight with no one. Before I had a podcast, before I really did. That's my life partner. 7 years with that chick, man. She's put up with my shit. So good for her. Italian, man. So you come on my podcast? Would you come on, you and her, or even just you or whatever?
Yeah, definitely.
You do podcasts too? You do guest spots?
We do, yeah.
Be the same thing like this. It'd be like it's on StreamYard 7 p.m. on Thursdays typically. And I'll have to book some. This is fun. We've been yeah.
This has been fun, yeah.
Any more questions? I love them.
Yeah. So here, because you're talking about Annabelle, we have our own haunted doll. It's in northern Japan, and I'm surprised people don't know about this doll. Her name is Okiku, and the reason why she's so significant is she's over 100 years old, but her hair still grows.
What? Wait, hold on. It's a doll and her hair grows?
Her hair grows.
Stop.
Like back, yeah, so originally
What?
a 17-year-old boy bought a doll for his 2-year-old sister named Okiku. That's where she got her name. So being a little girl who got a doll, she brought it everywhere. She treated it like her best friend until she tragically passed away holding the doll also at 2 years old from either malaria or yellow fever. They keep going back and forth on whichever one it is. Doesn't really matter. So she died holding this doll, unfortunately not comfortable, especially back then. It's over 100 years old. So the family wanted to bury the doll with her, but Japanese law then did not allow them. So in Japanese households, it is also very common that if you have a family member who passed, you have a shrine in your house dedicated to them. So they put her doll into her shrine, and they said every year on her birthday and the anniversary of the day she died, they would have a lot of paranormal activity in their house. It would really pick up around that.
You tell me.
So they also noticed because originally when they got the doll, she had shoulder length hair, and then when they looked at the doll's hair was past the middle of her back. And they're like, well, that's weird. So they never wanted to. They always so obviously they kept the doll. 20 years later, they were moving, but they were superstitious because Japanese people are more superstitious than religious or anything at all. They were superstitious and they're like, well, we're afraid if we move the doll with us too far away from its original home, it's going to lose its magic. So they went to a shrine or they went to a temple. They talked to the monk. They've already heard stories about this doll from people in town. So they were excited to get this doll and take care of it. It's on display there. And they said this doll visit this doll can visit you in your dream.
No
Monks have
way.
reported seeing her visit them in their dream. tourists who've seen her said later she visited them in their dreams. So basically, and I'm like, why is no one making a horror movie of this? And everyone's like, well, there's already like Chucky and Annabelle for horror movies. I'm like, yeah, but this one can also enter your dreams. So you're not safe. And what's interesting is even though she's over 100 years old,
Wow.
even though she's for some odd reason after all this time, so it's made. So the dolls are usually handmade, also made from porcelain. So the doll's mouth was made closed, and they said for some odd reason her mouth lately has slowly been opening. And when I looked in there, at first I didn't see anything, but then they're saying now she's starting to develop what looks like children's teeth, literally coming through what looks like what would be technically the gums.
Yeah.
They said, yeah, she's
That's-
developing human teeth.
What?
Yeah,
This is the real thing. This is a bullshit
this is a real
folklore.
thing.
This
She's
is
actually developed this doll after 100 years somehow. Mouth opening and is developing teeth.
who owns her? Like, where is she in a museum somewhere? Does it?
Well, she's in a temple on display in like a glass case.
Wow, and her
Only
hair's
like
still
the monks
growing.
who take only the monks who take care of it and give her hair trim really
Brandon's all intrigued now, dude. This
yeah.
is like Robert the Doll, which has got a couple movies. He's got 3 movies. Robert the Doll in Tampa Bay. This is different though. I've never heard of a doll that hair keeps growing. I mean, the dream thing too. This is a shadow doll, which Tony and them have got, which comes in your dream. It's got a human tooth on it, all that shit. But this thing, the hair's still growing. Oh boy, the face is growing teeth. The mouth is opening up. That's bizarre. That's not normal.
People said they're looking at a photo of it and they're like, why does the teeth they're like if you look closely you can see the teeth in the pictures with the doll's mouth kind of open. They're like, for some odd reason though, the teeth look pointed.
Wow. Like jagged, like oh yeah, like
Yeah. So I don't know if they're
yeah,
jagged or that's just the way it looks in the photo. But people are like,
that's
"Look."
fucking wow. I'm gonna scope that out too. That's wild. Yeah, Brandon's gonna get a read. Yeah, I gotta. That's wild. No kidding. See, like, why isn't that well known? Why don't people talk about Okio? Is the name? If you missed it,
So Kiku
thank you,
gets
Heather. Okiku. Yeah. She'll. By the time I get off this podcast and talk to her after this show, she's gonna be all like, "I already researched it." She's right up there too. Good researcher. Just says she's not as big as me. I like to go on the camera. Some people get camera shy. She don't want to be on these things. I don't. I love it. I love it. So interesting, huh? So you've done some research. You're a historian researcher of sorts.
yeah, because
Absolutely.
I just really wanted to learn about the urban legends here, and of course that's definitely one of them. And
That's
it's just fascinating with
that's intriguing, but
somehow it's
hell.
still, especially with the teeth thing. I'm like, how is this possible?
And how does the world not know? How is it not a book or
That's what I'm
movie
saying.
or
Because a lot of
something?
people are like, I never heard of this doll. Like, yeah, it's a real doll here in Japan. They look it up, like, oh, it is. I'm like, yeah, I told you. I don't.
Like how much of that stuff is all around in like maybe Ireland or Guatemala that no one knows about? Thank you. I jumped over the phone, but just typed it in, so I figured. Hello. Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. That's intriguing. I like that. That's cool. That's cool, and that's what it's about, man. Life's always like I said. I don't mind weird shit. I watch horror movies. You know, I used to play video games. I'm not knocking anybody that does that stuff, but if you're gonna do this stuff, I myself now, at least at my age, what I've been through, I want to learn stuff. I want to know the meaning, where it started from, why is it there, what's going on, what hasn't been heard yet, what can I like the whole chewing gum place, right? I didn't know about that till a year ago. Now I want the world to know, right? So why not? It's fun. It's cool. Like the first ever haunting recorded in American history was in Maine. Was
Really?
some dude saw his daughter died, and she came to the living room, and like 8 people witnessed it in Maine. Not Machiasport. It's by Machiasport, Maine. But if you Google first ever documented haunting in American history, it'll tell you 1778 or something, Maine, and or 1762. I forget the year. Don't quote me on it, but it's in Maine too. I had to look up the doll. Chances are William Dafoe and Lou Stricker have covered it. They've been at it since the mid 2000s. I really I hardly know. Not William Dafoe, but Defoe. See, this is look at that. You put that out there. Now people are unlocking everything. That's cool. Good job, guys.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where I'm surprised it's not more well known in the paranormal.
It should be. There's so much that is, and half of it you don't even know. There's so much other stuff that's going. Hey guys, I died in vain. I'm here. I did something really worth knowing. So I'll stop at cemeteries. I stopped at this one in LaGrange, Maine. Same song as ZZ Top, LaGrange. And there's a cemetery, and this dude says part of the bomb squad died in action. This guy was in the bomb squad. He died in action. He's buried in this little cemetery on the side of the road with like 40 people. Middle of nowhere, Maine. He died in action. God bless him. I took a picture with the selfie with his gravestone. Maybe that's what brings me bad luck sometime. I don't know. But I do it with respect. I've been to LL Bean's grave. You've heard of LL Bean. LL Bean is one of the biggest things in Maine. I've been to his grave site in Freeport, Maine. I've been to a lot of them, and I try to just do what I can to let the world know these people existed, things existed, and you're doing the same thing by bringing this doll to life that still grows hair and has jagged teeth. Get out of here. You can't make this up. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah. Especially with that being older, it looks a bit of people like it's just creepy looking.
Yeah, you think? Bizarre. It's wild. That's cool that I know that now. I'm excited to learn more. That's a treat.
Also in northern Japan, they also have what they and a lot of Japanese people don't even know this thing exists. But it was considered at one point Japan's biggest hoax. What it was is so when Jesus did his tour, they think one of the places he went was Japan.
Really?
And it was a conspiracy theory then. They're saying they don't believe in it now up there, but supposedly it wasn't Jesus who died on the cross. It was a brother of his.
Really?
So that's so.
I heard 4 or 5 people died that day on crosses.
This man came into town and he had a lock of hair and a human ear. He claims that he was Jesus. His brother took his place on the cross, and the ear was supposedly his.
What?
And the lock of hair was supposed to be his mother Mary.
No way. Really?
People thought for the longest time that he was Jesus. And he just changed his name once he escaped and got to Japan. He changed his name. I guess the guy also became an onion farmer.
Wow.
But he also got married, had children, kind of restarted his life. But everyone for the longest time thought, oh, that's Jesus Christ who actually escaped. So there's actually they call it Jesus' tomb. Anyone wants to look into what I'm saying, but there's two little graves there. They still hold festivals there. One of them has his body, but the other one is supposed to have that lock of hair and the ear.
No way. Really?
Yeah. A lot of people nowadays don't believe that's Jesus anymore, so they call it Japan's biggest hoax. But it's just one of the biggest theories. Yeah.
Or is it? That's interesting.
Yeah, that's the one like, how do you know it's actually a hoax? That's a good point. I don't actually know.
But how do you know it's not?
Get angry when you say it. I'm like, look, that is the lore. I don't make it up. I just tell it as it is, okay?
But that's I've never heard that theory.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, look, that's the story. Look, if you don't believe me, look up Jesus' tomb in Japan. You'll find it. I am not making this up.
Wow. That's fucking wild. I like that stuff. I like how to be able to, yes, I mentioned earlier, I've been through death between being at a young age, my grandfather's spirit coming to me and Lisbon in the trailer going, hey, you want some waters? Yeah, Papa. You take care of Mama now, huh? And goes off to the ceiling. I go, what? For the longest time, I thought it was nuts until I found out a couple years later when my other grandfather died that my sister goes, yeah, I saw him too. I go, what? That day, my aunt was there from California. She goes, Sarah was looking up the ceiling going, okay, Papa, I love you too. Okay. My sister was 3 years younger than me. I was 9. She was 6. So you tell me. And then, of course, my grandfather died a couple years later. I saw that. And then going to the same high school as one of my favorite people in the world, best author, in my opinion, Stephen King, Stephen Pollock, who's Stephen King now. um, or was born to Stephen King because his father changed his name from Pollock to King when he came to America. But Stephen King, same high school as him, and I knew all about him, Death, and Pennywise. The Shining was my first horror movie, and the girls are in the hallway, and the blood comes up the fucking elevators. That don't blow your mind at 9 years old. I don't know what would. So between that and Death at a young age, paranormal can go two ways, I guess, right? It's either going to go against it, and I don't want to talk about death, to like, oh, where do we go? Am I going to see my dad again? My grandfather? Not my dad, my grandfather. Am I going to see my mom again? Am I going to see my friends again that have passed away because of cancer? Different stuff. So it's intriguing. Plus, it's different. I love horror movies. I love heavy metal. Red Rum. That's right. I love heavy metal. I love horror movies. I used to sing in a metal band, Culling the Herd in Maine for 5 years. We opened up for some national acts, Mushroom Head, El Nino. They're from Mexico, Brazil, I think, actually. So it's been fun, man. I've been a singer of a metal band. I've wrote my own songs, and now I'm a tour guide. I'm a podcaster. I'm an explorer. I love to have fun. I'm a booking agent. I love to have fun. I bring people to Stephen King movie filming sites. So hopefully an author soon. And it's cool because sometimes I feel like who gives a shit, and then people ask me to be on their show once in a blue moon. I'm like, someone knows what's up. So
what is your book going to be about?
My first one's going to be about kind of my biography, kind of what I told you now. I get more into depth. Excuse me. I got more into depth and detail about how I became, into this field, how I really wanted to look for answers. But I do want to make a second book when I'm done this. I'm already kind of looking ahead to like spots I've been to, like, Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter, Off the Beaten Path, or something to like spots I told you about, places you go where people are like, who? Or wow, really? What? Like the witch Mary Nathan I told you about, or different things. I try to look for forts and stuff that aren't really talked about. There's a Brownville. I live by Brownville, Maine. There's an iron furnace there. It's still there from like 1862, and they used to burn minerals to make stuff out of it. There's a hotel there and all that stuff. Hotel's gone, but the iron furnace is still there, and it's free to go to. The crash site, Elephant Mountain, Brownville, the plane crash site. I'm 45. I'm 45. I turned 45 on September 6th. Thank you for all the personal questions. I turned 45 September 6th. I'm an old fuck. So I'm almost to 50. No personal kids. A long time ago, my girl I was with had a miscarriage, so my first only child died. But the girl I'm with has got 2 kids. I consider them family. I've been with her for 7 years, Heather. So she's got 2 kids, and they're going to get whatever I have when I die, except for the knowledge. I'm going to try to put that in the books on my YouTube channels. And I just want people to learn and to realize that sometimes you don't need to be part of the crew or go to Salem in October to see cool stuff. You can do stuff over the beaten path. You can look for history in your state, town, country, like Amanda's done, and look for stuff people haven't known. And not trying to oppress people. I don't need to impress anybody. I don't really care. My girl loves me. That's good enough. I just do it because it's fun. And I think people should know this, man. Wouldn't you want to know the birthplace of chewing gum? Why not? It's a little useless knowledge, but you want to go see where Pennywise, the inspiration for Pennywise came from? If you look at the beginning of It, on both It's, Jackson Street is there. About 300 feet from Stephen King's house in Bangor is Jackson Street. There's a storm drain there that he get the inspiration from. There's usually a red balloon tied there. Have you heard of the podcast, Where Did the Road Go? No. Yeah, have them send me invites. Adam Began, Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter, puberty, right? Historically Haunted Vodcast. I'm in season 5. Been doing this for a while. I got 2,000 followers. I get sponsors every week at $10 a week. I had Donnie sponsor me. He drove the red truck in Pet Cemetery. So I'm well known. I got my own foundation. If these guys want me to be on their show, definitely hit me up. I don't charge money. I do my own thing. Because you said metal music. Yes, I grew up, recall. Yeah, I was actually in, if you look at Slayer, right, Still Raining, when they did the reunion tour in Augusta, Maine for Rain and Blood, the whole album in the session. In Necrophiliac, in the bonus section, song 3, I'm in the middle in my Brian Urlacher, Chicago Bears football jersey, going, flicking you off, and you can see my Soulfly tattoo. So I love it all, man. Slipknot, Slayer. I met Rob Zombie. I've done some great shit. I've seen Cannibal Corpse and all that stuff. I never catch when he go live. You'd have to reach me. Yeah, Adam Began on Facebook, Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter, Historically Haunted Vodcast, Historically Haunted Booking, Historically Haunted Paranormal, Historically Haunted fucking Tours, but no fucking, but Witch and Life Guide, my girl Heather Kemenidi. Yeah, Historically Haunted Booking, you'll see Raph, all these people. Yeah, man. I used to sing. I wrote lyrics. I sang. I didn't put metal backwards. No, I tell people straight up, go fuck yourself. I got the name tattooed on my arm, Culling the Herd. We're on Facebook. I used to hang myself on stage with a microphone cord. I had fake blood capsules, wore a sheep mask, all that good stuff, man. I'm pretty hardcore, but at the same time, I'm the nicest guy. No police record, never hurt no one. I love you like a brother or sister. I just like to act hard because it's fun, man. I like trick or treat. I like life's fun, man. It's all about the dark side of shit, paranormal, death metal, horror movies. I'm on a big movie kick now of horror movies, and I like pro wrestling. That's my thing, I guess. They say it's a real right. Yeah, Aussie. That's right. And the head off a dove. That's funny. But yeah, paranormal is a lifestyle. I think if people that just live on the weekends or do it for 1 month a year, God bless them, good for you. But there's people like you, me, Amanda, other people that kind of live this all year round and want to know the truth, want to know what's up. You know?
Yeah, I can't, and I think you would understand this. I can't investigate with everyone. Like when I was living back in the States, there was a place I would bring when a team was like, "Hey, join our team." I would meet to investigate to see if these people I can move forward with. A lot of times they just it wasn't just because a lot of them just got disrespectful with the spirit or disrespectful with the owner's rules. And the reason why I went there is, I developed kind of a relationship with the owners to the point where they trusted me, knowing that I wouldn't break the rules. And they've also watched me yell and cuss out people who do, because I'm like, don't. It's just disrespectful to break the
Like the people
rules.
that tell the ghost, hey, if you're there, do something. What, you're scared to show me? Blah, blah, blah. Talk crap to dead people. Like, really, dude? Have some right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I have no tolerance for that. To go to a house where people have passed away or something bad happened, and you get 6 or 7 people eating gummy bears, TikToking live, going, show yourself, do something. What are you, scared, wimp? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I just assume go with my girl and one other person and just sit there quietly and not TikTok, not eat gummy bears, not post on Facebook, and just sit there and breathe in the experience. Know where you are, know what you're about, talk some questions, but you don't need to be the next ghost hunter on TV, bro. Dustin Perry, all those people, nothing against them, but come on, guys, right? I love that you do that, Amanda. You tell people like, shut up.
Yeah, I have no problem. If you're getting disrespectful, I have no problem getting into a fight with you. Because I'm just like, no, we're not doing this. They watched me cuss people out, and that's why, like, okay, we trust you.
Spirits like
You're
that.
not going to allow it to happen. I'm like, well, people also don't realize if you go and if you book a place to investigate and you go with a group and other people in the group are breaking the rules, even though you're not, because you're part of that group,
You're
you
guilty.
can get banned. Not only can you get banned too, but people also forget that if you're banned from one location, or if they just feel like you disrespected the place, or from what a lot of owners even said, a lot of they come in and they have to clean up these people's trash, or people put salt everywhere and they have to clean up the salt.
Yeah.
They talk to other owners of locations. They tell them, "This is who I had. This is what they did." So now, and I was like, I like going to haunted places. I don't want people. I don't want the owners when I'm booking location looking and be like, "Oh, it's her." No, that
Well,
can and does happen because
guilt by
and
association.
it might not be you, but it's because the people you're with, and they don't care if you're trying to explain your case. It's the fact that it happened. You were with them, and I'm like, yeah. And that's not like we're not going to do this.
That's a black mark, and that spreads quickly. Next thing you know, no one wants to work with you because fucking Sally on your team or Jeff on your team's a prick, and they're ruining your experience. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
You get it.
I'm like, yeah, you're not respectful. I can't do this.
I like that. I respect that because that's what it's about. These people were people, man. You don't treat them like little pets or little show ponies or little puppets. These people are and were you. These are souls. Have some respect or get the fuck out. I agree. I agree. That's why I do a lot solo, or not, which isn't good to do solo, but very little, I should say. 5 or less, to me, is the way to go. And you even then you got to pick it. You really do. You know. I agree.
Because I have met investigators who they go somewhere and they're like, "Oh yeah, the person committed suicide in this room," and the first thing they do is walk into this room and they're like, "You're a coward. You took the coward way out," and I'm like, "No, please no." And it was to the point where I was in a group investigation where they were disrespecting the woman whose room it was, who usually haunts it. So I'm like, you guys, just get out of this room, go somewhere else,
Yep.
stop that. And it's funny because as soon as I got them out, as soon as I got them out and they started going away, all of a sudden I smelled her perfume, and I heard her say, "Thank you."
Really?
And I started laughing because I just couldn't help but start laughing.
I like that. That's
You know you're disrespectful because they weren't even getting anything out of her because she's like, she just didn't want to deal with it. And I'm like, this proves the whole thing of you don't have to disrespect them to get them to do anything. Sometimes, especially the really nice ones, if you're in there disrespecting them, they're not going to want to do anything. If you walk in there and start talking to them nicely, you're going to get more. So
yeah.
when she told me, say, "All right, guys, you're not going to do this. At this point, just leave this room,
No.
go somewhere else." That's when she's like, "Thank you."
They're intelligent beings. They're not show ponies, man. You really can have, some patience too. You can't walk into a house and expect them to fucking tap dance in 5 minutes. They're looking at you going, "Who the fuck is this? Why are they in my place?" You got to earn some respect. You can't just go in going, "Who are you? What's my name? What color shirt am I wearing? Blah blah fucking blah." You got to, and that's where history comes in, Amanda. Right? Is this Bill? I heard you drowned here. I'm sorry that happened to you. You want to know the person's name. You know what happened to them. You don't want to go in blindly and go, what's my name? I work with people like that. I go, what the fuck is this about? So yeah, man, there's certain people I won't work with. For the most part, I don't really care enough. I want to do it for me, not for them. I don't want to do it for Facebook likes and shit. I could care less. I want to do it to learn what's up, to respect them. And there's answers out there, man. You know what's up, right? It's all about, like you said, it's about respect or just I'm good. I'll do another event with someone else or whatever, And even then I've kind of stopped people charging money to go to their events and have snacks. And like I did at Hillview Manor in Virginia, right for Virginia, with like 8 people. And there's people doing selfies and videos. And they'll come in this room and they're all talking and there's stuff going off. And I'm like, it's an old mental asylum where 2 people died in shock therapy tubs and shit. And there's people in there just making fun of it and laying in there going, "Oh, I'm cold. Can you feel me?" I'm like, what? So I went off on my own with a reverend. We spent the night until 2 a.m. in the morgue, Reverend Jay. Well, everybody else is up there tap dancing for TikTok. And not back then it was TikTok, but whatever. So I dig you. And that's the last time I spent money for an investigation. I'm good. If I spend money, it'll be on my own cause, to bring people, not to jump in a big parade thing and order pizza at 1 a.m. and laugh. And I get the most equipment. Looks like I win. I go, what? This dude, I don't want to name drop, but I'm like, what? That's not
how it works.
Dumb.
Especially here in Japan, where usually the spirits are older. So if you set out equipment, they're not going to want to be near it. And it's just because they don't know what it is. Even if you say, "Oh, it's not going to hurt you, it's just going to light up," or "It's just going to make noise," they're going to be like, "I don't know you. Do you want me to trust you?"
Amanda, boy, quit thinking so smartly. You're going to cancel your show. I gotta say this, and am I wrong? 8, maybe 9 out of 10 people that see ghosts, are they sitting there with little things breathe? They're sitting there watching TV, sleeping, having sex, walking down the street. They're not paying attention, and the ghost does stuff. How many people have experiences while watching TV, sitting in the living room having a pot pie? They're not doing anything. So if you sit there patiently, just sit there, you might see something. You go out there provoking them, they're going to go, I'm not getting a cut. You know what I mean? And of course, "Oh, I felt that. Did you feel that breeze?" You can say stuff that no one can see, but I want evidence. And I don't care about what you got. I want to feel it. I want to feel a ghost touch me, talk to me. I want to see my grandfather come to me again and walk me to the fridge like he did in plain sight. That's the stuff I'm worried about. Not a girl knowing the color t-shirt I'm wearing. I could care less. You know what I mean?
We're also assuming they can see you. We don't know what they can see. So if I can't see you, and it'd be like if a spirit asked you the same thing and you can't see it. Well, what color shirt am I wearing?
It doesn't. They don't have a brain like they don't have the human brain like we do. It's a soul. There's a different. People got to realize that you don't have the mechanics a human body does. You don't have pain. You don't have legs. Well, they have two legs. When they died, they had one. Well, you're a soul. You have two. You don't have a human form. It's a soul. You don't really have two, but you have a. You know what I mean? It's a different animal, so to speak. And I mean that with respect. So I think people got to do some knowledge, and I think you get it, but a lot of people don't. And those are the people I've stayed away from throughout the years because it's a headache. Anybody could be a paranormal guy. There's no classes. There's no register. I could literally tomorrow, I'm paranormal, and that's it. I could have a t-shirt, a tattoo, an ear piercing, and a ODM F reader or whatever the fuck. And next thing you know, I'm the next Zach Bagans. And that's not how that works in my world. Like you said, I want respect, knowledge, history, guidance. That's how you get to know me, because I don't need this. I've been on a TV show. I don't care.
I wish people who just get started into the paranormal don't try to, especially if you're not with someone who's experienced doing it, try to do residentials.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you don't know what you're doing, you can think
more harm than good, right? More harm than good.
I mean, if you go with someone who's had experience doing it, that's fine. They can teach you. You better listen to them what they say, because it's not the same as renting a place and set up your equipment and investigating. It's not.
Right.
I also hate it when people go to a house or residential and they advertise, "We'll be live while we do this ghost hunt at this person's house." So I'm like, please no, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to get out there. Unfortunately, because you went live, something gets out about this family they don't want people to know about. You can't take it back because it was on your live. And unfortunately, a lot of people are like, "Well, they gave permission." I'm like, yeah, but they probably, if they're not into the paranormal and they're calling people for help, they don't know what's normal. They don't know what's acceptable. They don't know, like, if you're telling them, "Oh yeah, we go live," they're assuming that, and you tell them, "Yeah, that's what we do," they're going to think, "Well, I guess teens go live."
But come on. I mean,
But
you're looking at yourself, okay, wait, so you're using my house and my case as promotion, as way to get likes and follows? We're like, I'm in serious shit here. My kid's getting whips at night, or my husband's getting, black marks or crosses on his chest when he wakes up. Like, what? Yeah, I've dealt with some of that. I've taken tours, and the guy's just like, it's peculiar because you got to pick them out. But at the same time, some people need help, and they look to us, and it's not all TV bullshit. And you're right. You're right, Amanda. It puts a black mark on those of us that actually give a shit and try when people go out there for the quick pop. You know what I mean?
or even the people who charge a lot of money for them to come out and do residentials. And I'm like, it was an unspoken rule when I started. You don't charge. All of a sudden, people are charging a lot of money. But as someone pointed out, that's unethical, because if you're charging me money to come out to investigate my house, you cannot guarantee results
No.
at
If it's
all.
if it's out of state or whatever, if it's a long drive, gas money at the top of it.
To me, that's acceptable compared to, oh yeah, gas money and five.
But I mean, be realistic, right?
I've heard some people say I've heard some people say they reached out to teams for a residential. They were quoted, besides gas, but it would be like between $500 to $1,500 for them to come out there for their time that night. And I'm like, really? They can't. And I was like, I promise you, even if you have a really haunted house, it may or may not. They may or may not get anything that night. So I'm like, that's kind of. So like, well, what happens if they need to come back? What happens if they don't get any evidence? Are you out $500 to $1,500?
Then you hear people saying they never got back to me. They won't return my calls, and that's a bad name. They don't trust any other team after that. They don't trust any other person because that burned them, and that sucks. I get it. I get it. I did a couple of ones for free, Heather and I, a couple places, and we'll give you money. No, man, I'm good. It's not that far. No, I just want to check it out. And it's intriguing. And to know they trust you, that's kind of wild. And to take advantage of them, that's just wrong. And those are the
Well,
people that
usually
are,
it's because out of desperation, especially if the family doesn't know anything about paranormal. They're like,
yeah,
"Oh, he's in my area. Let me reach out." And you're like, "Yeah, I need $1,500 to come out that night."
no.
You're taking advantage of a desperate situation,
Yeah.
especially if they've never contacted a paranormal team. They may or may not. The only reason why people would even do that is because they're like, "Well, I guess that's how it is."
No. No clue. They have no idea. And you're putting a bad taste in their mouth for the next one. Oh boy, there's a lot of scam out there. Please be careful, guys. Please do your research on these groups and people. Don't forget to wear all black. That's right. And a couple of gold chains and oh boy, I tell you. But it's like that in everything, whether it's paranormal or music or anything else. There's always people, that just who you gonna call. I got to meet Dan Aykroyd a couple of years ago. Heather and I. He did a Crystal Skull vodka signing in Danvers,
Yes.
Massachusetts, Salem Village, and Heather and I waited at Peabody Liquors or whatever the fuck it was called, and we got a selfie with him. That's one of my profile pictures. Dan Aykroyd. We talked about the Betty and Barney Hill alien abduction case, the first ever documented case in America. The black and white couple in the 60s in New Hampshire. I've been there. The highway where they were examined and stuff, Betty and Barney Hill. Been into their house where they both died. Barney 8 years later and Betty at 93. And I've been in their gravesite, Heather and I, in Kingston, New Hampshire. And it says the path. What the fuck does it say on their tombstone? The unknown path or something with a UFO on their tombstone. Betty and Barney Hill, UFO legends. So I'm all about it, man. It's all wild. Life's too. I love movies. Don't get me wrong. I love the fake shit. I love wrestling. Met a lot of WWE wrestlers back in the day. I met Ronda Rousey, UFC fighter. But I love this stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. You don't need other shit in life. There's so much shit in life that's it's just wild. So it's a trip. It's been fun.
I knew someone who their family home was having paranormal activity, so they booked a team to come to investigate. And they asked me to come with the team to be there to investigate with them. I said no because I already knew the lead investigator. I'm like, him and I don't get along. We've
Oh,
investigated before. He's one of the guys I end up yelling, cussing out because he wanted to break every rule because it make good YouTube TV is what he said. And I'm like, yeah,
red
not
flag.
what I'm not doing. So I'm like, no, I don't like that lead investigator for that reason. I also see where because her criteria was, hey, this is a small, it's a single family home. It's not very big. We can only really do 3, maybe 4 people at most.
Ooh,
For that size, I understand. It's like a
right.
regular home. Nothing big, nothing fancy. She tells him that because she said also the criteria I saw. But I also saw him turn around and say, you know, I want as many people there as possible so we can film. And I also said no because I have a feeling, based on what I saw, based on that comment, there's gonna be more than 4 people. No, we only told him 3 or 4 people, and we're hoping, you'd be one of them, or even if he brings 4 people, you can at least be the fifth. We're fine with that. And I'm like, no, I don't think I don't have a good feeling on this. It turns out I was right because she said he showed up with 12 people,
Wow.
and I'm like, that's not necessary. But with 12 people into a small space, you can't. If you hear something, it's hard because you have 12 people all making noises in one little area.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work.
And
You
half the
can't
time they're
relate.
laughing or someone's talking, oh, that wasn't me, or that was me, or whatever. And it's like, it's broken silence all the time.
Like when we see people go to Waverly, these big groups, I'm like, that's different. That's a bigger area compared to someone's small little
Yeah.
house.
It's tough to get a feel, especially these places where, and that's my whole thing. thousands of people throughout the years, maybe even a million in the whole lifetime, have gone to this place, and you're there at the Conjuring House, at Lizzie Borden's, at fucking Penhurst, at Eastern State Penitentiary, at wherever, and all these people, Lizzie Borden, that all have gone there, they've left behind energy too. So when I go to these places where people go, no one's really ever investigated here before, I go, fucking score. Funeral home in Lincoln, Maine. They want me to come check it out. Some girl died there. They see a ghost in the window. The girl owns 3 funeral homes. Her and her husband want me to check it out. And no, they don't want to pay me. I'm not going to charge them. They want me to come check it out. Fucking A, right? No one's ever done it before. All right. That to be, like I said, I love bucket lists. Lizzie Borden's is great, Gettysburg, all that stuff. But these places where no one has been yet, where I'm the first, that's a little thing. And that's a little notch in the belt, right? And that's a little respect to the ghost code. Who's this guy? And it's kind of like doing it the right way. Then they want rate. Well, right. Yeah. And like you said earlier, too, about someone you say Betty and Barney Hill. Yeah, Betty. Well, Barney died 8 years later after the UFO abduction of a brain aneurysm. But Betty lived a long life, and she gave the star map, told everybody about the equinox and where the Orion's belt is and all this galaxy, all this shit. She knew it all to a T after this abduction, supposedly. So that's a pretty wild story. So there's a place like that where you go, it's free, there's no one there, and why not, right? I got a picture of Betty and Barney Hill were abducted here. First documented alien abduction case in American history. Big sign, middle of Franconia Notch, New Hampshire. I win. Why not, right? So it's fun to give these places respect and to learn respect, but that's the key. Like you said, Amanda, respect. If you go to someone tomorrow, some old timer in a store, and you start asking him his life story, and you're like, hey, man, what's your story? He's going to go, fuck you. But if you're like, hey, man, I'd love to hear your story. What's everything about? Well, so if you got time, here you go. It's all about wording and about positioning and just what you mean. Otherwise, that's why I'm alone, because 9 out of 10 people don't have respect. So it's tough to find the ones like-minded, like you, like Thomas Patrick, Heather. Heather grew up in an old house in Portland, Maine, and her stepfather died in the bed while her and her mother was gone out of state and she was growing up. But he died and was in the bed for like 6 days in the middle of summer. And when she came back from Florida, he was in a pool of muck on this bed. Supposedly he haunts the house still. I don't know if Heather's still watching, but that's wild stuff. The 510 in Portland, on Stephen Avenue. Pretty wild stuff. So there's stories everywhere, man. You know that. Every house could have a story. It depends if it's worth knowing, but to me it is. And I'm down with it. You'll never know it all, but give it a whirl.
Do you know of any YouTube channels that you think is more legit than?
My friend Nate Elwell, the Static Voices on YouTube and TikTok, he debunks videos of people. Like I said, Adam History and Ghost Hunter on YouTube and Historically Haunted is all my shows. But Adam History and Ghost Hunter, I go to places, I do research. It's very raw, unedited stuff. Other than that, Amanda, what say you?
There is some out there. There is a team that's called The Other Side in the UK. Might be worth looking into. But there's also someone who went. A debunker had a hard time debunking his evidence, but he was originally, if you look up, he was originally with the Boozy Brothers.
Okay.
But now he recently changed it to Paranormal Pablo.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Okay. I haven't heard of that. I'll have to check that out. Obscure Research Paranormal is pretty cool. These be clients of mine. They're good. They haven't done work in a while. They had some good older stuff. There's different people, but I'm not going to lie. Instead of focusing on what other people do, I just do research on my own thing. And I feel like that's the way. And I'm just trying to move my brand forward and just see where things lie in the future with my life. Now that I'm getting older in Maine, I'm just doing my own thing, focusing on writing and trying to figure out my knowledge and stuff. Friends with some people from Stephen King universe, Marlon Taylor, who was one of the Losers Club members in the original It, the black boy that read the book. He came to Maine a couple months ago. We hung out. So I'm having fun, meeting new people, doing my thing. And I'm always optimistic where the future lies. So, yeah. Shit, this was a lot of fun, man. This is fun being on the show.
Going back to what you're saying earlier in the show when you said you want to know the real history, not what the government wants us to believe is a history. There is a theory that you should look up. I was recently kind of reading about this, and people say if you go down this rabbit hole, you'll start believing it. But it's called the phantom time theory, where we're not actually in the year 2024. They actually made up at least 300 years of history to kind of get the results they want or get more power. So they just kind of made up 300 years of history to go into
Really?
their favor. It was like one emperor, one of the popes, and someone else.
Like they did the advent calendar, the calendar, whatever. They kind of just fudged it to what they wanted it to be. You're saying?
Yeah, it's. I know because originally they said, I guess if you look into it, we're not supposed to have 12 months in a calendar. It's supposed to be 13.
Really?
Yeah, because if you do 13 months, everything goes into exactly every month to have exactly 28 days.
Because some have 31, some have 30. I get it. You take those
Yeah,
days
they're like,
away,
yeah, if
you
you
have
were supposed
30
to actually
days.
have 13, if they did it that way, that'd be a perfect, it'd be 28
13,
each one.
13 is the unlucky number too, which they believe in superstition. I get it. No shit. I love down the rabbit hole again. That's Thomas's thing. I love your theories on that and Jesus and stuff and everything. That's very intriguing to me. I love thinking. I love out thinking outside the box. And what if? Because as far as I'm concerned, if I wasn't there and didn't see it, it's open to speculation, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
but they're
Wow.
like, yeah, if you research it, you'll start believing it too.
What would we name the 13th month? I wonder. December. Who
No,
knows?
there probably was a name. I'm gonna have to look in and see what that is.
Oh, fucking Amanda, you're gonna fucking blow my mind. So
You're
what I'm
gonna sit
so
there one day, and be like, is there 13? What is going on?
hey, it's December 13th, everybody. Where's my fucking what holiday would we have for that month? Oh my god. And then you add leap year in there, right? What a bizarre, everything's bizarre. Everything's questionable in life. Huh. Interesting. 13th month. Would it be a winter? Would it be a spring? Would one of these seasons be extended? Very odd. Curious. I feel like it'd be a winter in Maine because it's always cold here. Hmm. So I'm a little buzzed right now. Yeah, I love that. But tomorrow, my day off, I want to send you some open dates I have in like February and March for you to come on my show if you don't mind.
Okay.
That'd be fun. I got all day off tomorrow. I'm gonna put around. We're supposed to get snow, another 5 inches of snow tonight. Ugh. So I'll be sleeping in, eating cereal, watching horror movies tomorrow, smoking weed. Casio Beke, mythical ghost of Japanese folklore covers. Yeah, she was talking about that earlier, right? Is it the same one that keeps hair growing, right?
There is we have I swear a folklore from everything you can think of, which is
Wow.
funny to me. We have thousands. However, like I was saying earlier, we don't have any cryptid researchers, so we could sit here and go through cryptids, but we already know we'd have episodes of this is what it looks like and where it's at. All right, next one, because that's all they know about it, because they just leave it alone.
Wow. Nomar, Gene, if you're still watching, the cryptozoologist in Japan, if you're ever out there, you can probably make some fucking headway. Because you know there's
I'm
fucking
saying
shit there.
anything you learn would be new and groundbreaking if no one else wants to do it.
Wow. I love that. Cryptids and monsters, Shokyo is snake-like. Well, of course, snake-like, and you get the dragon, all that shit. Very, very cool. So is this right now on your YouTube channel? I take it. Is that why people on YouTube are commenting? So this will be saved. I can share it tomorrow and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. I didn't even know. I'll have to subscribe to both my channels tomorrow too.
Okay.
I'll make sure I subscribe once I'm sober. Oh shit.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Oh, this was fun.
This was. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, we're almost at 9 p.m. my time. I'm gonna smoke a joint, watch a movie, probably go to bed. But yeah, this was fun. I never get to be a guest much. People don't ask me. I don't know why, but once in a blue, I do. I have been on a couple, but when you asked me, I was pumped and shit. So yeah, I want you and her to come on mine, and then when she's feeling healthy, I'll come back on if you want, and we'll catch up and shit. Yeah, I thank you, Granzilla 12. Keep the faith, amen. I appreciate your time. Shout out to my girl, Heather Witch and Life Guide, Thomas Patrick, Gormley. Check him out at the Paracon, 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 Connecticut. Does a lot of work with them. The Haunted Trolley, all the it's the beard. Before I got my job, I had it. If you look at my old pictures and stuff, I got it down to here, but they made me cut it from my show. Oh, Brandon. Thank you, brother. Yes, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. I'll be on StreamYard, Historically Haunted with Nomar, who chimed in. We'll talk about this show a little bit. If you get a chance, Amanda, chime in and comments. I'd love to have you on. Thomas, your episode with her was awesome. Good people. Amanda, if you don't mind, like I said, I'll just send some of my clients your way if you want some hope.
Yeah, that's fine.
Some people you'd love to shoot the shit with. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. I had a lot of fun. And thank you for letting me spew my venom for an hour and almost 2 hours.
Thank you. And we'll definitely have to see you on here again soon. Hopefully you get both of us on here next time.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I've never done an international podcast. I'm trying to think if I've been on a British one. I may have once, but I don't think so. I think it's all been American. So this is my first. So you've been gentle and I appreciate it. And I'm going to go smoke a cigarette now and relax. And shout out to your husband and all your watchers. Thank you for hopefully new people that are supporters. Thank you for letting me turn you on to my world. And thank you for letting me in. Much love.
Thank you so much for joining us. And everyone else, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.